Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I am here to assemble a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes, and if you just feel like lurking, you don't want to say anything in the chat, well, that's okay. You can just lurk and hang out. That's totally okay. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. Happy to have you here. Welcome to the zone, the building zone. It's the Build with Bear Workshop. Tonight's agenda, we are beginning a new model kit, the Arios Gundam High Grade. This is from Gundam 00. It is the sequel, the follow-up kit to the Kyrios. The Kyrios is a kit I really enjoy. That Master Grade is one of my favorite Master Grades. The Kyrios has, as far as transformations and model kits go, my favorite flight transformation. It just looks the best out of any that I've built. So I have high hopes for the Arios Gundam. Now, this is a 2009 model kit, so the instruction manual is a little on the small side, and none of the instructions involve English, which is understandable, but frustrating. It's a little frustrating for me, but it's understandable, and I get it. I would prefer that it had English, but I will have my Google Lens app ready to go to make some translations of some text there, and we'll see if that helps me out. Well, it should. But also I can probably figure out just by trial and error and general knowledge of what I'm working on. It is a Monday, and I want to thank everybody for being here. Looks like we got a couple folks here. It's also the first stream of March. That's right. It's March. It's going to be March. No. But yeah, it's a new month. And I don't know. Hey, Lord Crashton, welcome. I don't have much else to say, but yeah. Let's go to the overhead camera, and let's get into the Arios Gundam. Lord Crashington wants me to hit the dance button. I do have a new dance song ready to go. Here it is. Thank you for using your channel points for this dang thing. As I get the first couple pieces I need to assemble this model kit. Just a cool beat. Just a fun little dance beat to get the body moving. What can I say about the Arios Gundam? It's got orange. Not a lot of model kits come in orange. You don't see a lot of them. And that makes me happy that we got it here, because I think orange is a phenomenal color, especially if you were doing a model kit that has a flight mode like this does. This kit's got a flight mode, and it's orange, and it reminds me a lot of Sunstreak, the Transformer. So that's cool. That's just cool shit for me, your friend Pat. Your friend Pat thinks that's very fucking cool. I need C33. That's this piece here. All right, we'll get that together. Gundam 00 is a show that I have watched, but I don't have like a lot of thoughts on it. As mentioned, this is the follow-up to the Kyrios Gundam, which I think is a fantastic Gundam. It has a good transformation. And so I'm like, hell yeah. All right, so this goes in like, that's interesting. This goes in like this. Very rare. This piece, normally, this polycap is used, I'm gonna shift over here. That's fine. Normally, this polycap is used for like connections between an arm and a chest, like a shoulder connection. But we're not using it for that. We're going to use it for connecting the waist, I guess. That's interesting. That's an interesting use of that polycap. I am intrigued by that. And then this goes like this, locking it in place. Now it's locked in place, so then that polycap can go in there. And then this is going to go in the front. Looking cool already. God, it's great orange. Yeah, I actually think the overhead looks pretty good. I'm still adjusting things here and there with the overhead camera, trying to make sure that all looks good. Oh, it makes sense that we're not using this polycap. We have to use a different polycap because the arms probably have to move in a weird way because of the flight mode. I assume that's why it's like that. It's just the flight mode is weird. So getting kind of adjusted here. This is the second stream back in this room. My overhead camera is kind of... So, in a perfect world, my overhead camera itself would be scooched a little bit more, and the table that it's clamped onto would be a little bit closer. But, because of the carpet, if this table shakes, it also shakes the table next to it. And if it's closer than that, it would shake it even more. And so to mitigate that, I have to have separation between the two pieces, or the two things, which means that the camera is a little farther away than I would like, which means that I have to kind of angle it in a way that I don't love. Now, the actual solution to this is to get a arm that has like a camera arm here, a mount that has like a longer arm, so it could be farther away. And I could even move this table even farther away and it would be fine. But that's not possible with this setup. When I used to use a webcam as my overhead camera, it was very easy to put that wherever I wanted because the webcam was very lightweight. I have a camcorder right now, up here. So that is a different can of worms, a different kettle of fish, a whole other kettle of fish. And I think it goes up like this. Cool. So that does require some more something substantial. So now what I would probably actually want is I would want a cage style mic arm. I would want a pole here that would go to a base. So there'd be a base and a pole sticking up of it. And then the other side, there would be a flat and then a pole sticking up of it. And then the poles would connect over and there'd be like a rod above me. And then I could just clip the camera onto the rod. And that way, like the bases would be heavy enough and I'd get like, that they would be secure. And that would be a freestanding thing that my table it wouldn't matter if the table shook because it wouldn't cause those to move at all. That is probably like the best case scenario as opposed to the situation that I have here. But that is not feasible. Not feasible for this room, not feasible for my budget. So that's out the window. Why is this not connecting right? I'm trying to figure this out here, so hold on. Let's make sure these are all lined up correctly. This all looks good. This all looks good. All connected here. Now let's see if I can get this connected. When there was a period of time where I was working out of the office that's near here, and I had my desk or table set up in front of a big cabinet, a big dresser cabinet thing. And that was actually the best setup I think I've had as far as overhead cameras go, because I took my mic or my camera mount arm and I just used one pole, and instead of it being attached to a table, it clamped onto like the end of this like a very huge piece of wood full of heavy equipment or for display heavy items. And so it wasn't going anywhere. And then I just placed it and then placed the table like so that my table was directly underneath like dead center where the camera was. And lined that up like that and just used it, and I could adjust it like how deep it was, and it was fucking perfect. It was the best overhead I've had because I had somewhere for the mic, or for the I keep saying mic arm, but I mean the camera arm had like a place to like wedge it in that was actually perfect, and I've not had as good a setup as that since I started doing overhead camera tricks. Now, long-term viewers will remember that I used to have I had a webcam on a tripod, I should say, So I had a tripod set up with the webcam pointing like down and slightly at an angle, and it would be like basically here where my like pointing where my finger is off camera, and it would go right like that, because I had my laptop off to the side, because I used to run this all off a laptop. So it would be like, and then I had a tripod, and then I had a little tiny tripod that was like basically in the legs of that tripod, like the empty space there, and that had another webcam on that faced me. And then sometimes I would use my laptop webcam instead, so I would have to put like it behind the laptop. That, for a guerrilla setup, my early setup is very guerrilla, but honestly worked pretty damn well. And it worked, I would say, surprisingly well, that whole setup. My travel setup worked kind of crazy. It was kind of wild how that worked. I feel bad. I don't feel bad, but I'm bummed. One of the legs broke on that little tiny tripod, because I used to use it with, I have an adapter for my phone, and I used to use it with the phone, and then one of the legs broke off. And so that is not a thing I can do anymore. And that's a shame. I could buy another one, but I don't really need it for anything. So I haven't bought a new one. I am getting used to the fact that there are people in this house. This morning, my folks returned yesterday from their month in Florida, almost a month in Florida, and they this morning my dad was doing something early in the morning and like hit a pan against something, and it like jolted me awake. Eventually, I will completely ignore that, and it will be, it'll be fine. But from like the last couple days of January through Saturday, I was alone in this house, and so suddenly there are noises, and I'm just like, oh yeah, all right, I gotta get used to that, huh? Okay, well, I can and I will get used to that. All right, we've got our first sticker coming up, which is part of the backpack here. So we will have to build that sticker. And we will do that now. Well, once we get going, we'll do it. Let's see if there's some words here on this, and I want to read that with my Google Translate. Seal. Okay. It's just a word for sticker. That's fine. The Megatron that I built previously, folks that were watching that build, no stickers on that, no tools required. So I'm going from that to this, which is a bit of a difference, a bit of a different vibe here. Pretty different of what we're going to get here. This is, again, a 2009 kit, so it will take some work. 8 and 9, and then there's a sticker that goes on, and we'll do the sticker last. We'll get the pieces together. Do that. But it is nice this kit I've had for a little bit, and so it is nice to get to build it. It did win the poll, the Patreon poll. My $10 patrons voted on this being the thing that I worked on. Oh, and I need a polycap 10. I almost started putting this together without the polycap, and that would have been annoying because I would have had to disassemble it to get the polycap going. So I'm glad that I noticed. This and this go together like that. And then what is sticker? Sticker is this sticker here. You can tell it will fit right where it needs to go there. So we'll get this open. This sticker here. And we'll see if we can get this in one go. There's a little bit of a fold here, so we'll try to get that in there. Use this dull toothpick here, because if we're using the knife to try to fold it in, we might just cut the sticker, which we don't want to do. Nice, a nice little teal sticker there. There's a little bit of color, kind of going for the cockpit vibe on this, I guess. And then there's because there's a clear piece that goes over it, I believe. That's a clear piece. We'll find out in a second. What is E12? E12 is a clear piece. Yes, it's the clear piece here. So That'll just go over that, which is neat. And then I also need C34, which is this piece here. And then, of course, we'll panel line it, because that's what we do once the kit is ready to go, or we complete a step. All right, and so the rigid side goes out, so it's this side. Okay, that snaps in. And then they want me to take this into here. The poly cap goes into there. Oh, we gotta get the poly cap on. There's a poly cap. So we'll see if we... Nope. There it is. We got the poly cap in, and then this piece is wider on the bottom. Does that work? No. Go like that. Nope, that's not it. How does this want to look? Does it want to look like that? Yes. Goes like that. Okay. All right, there we go. And there's a little bit of movement on this. This rocks a little bit here because it does. Yeah, you want to go like that and like that. It doesn't go all the way down, but it does have some movement to it. Okay. And that's the chest. Chest is done. And now we can move on to... that's weird. Oh, that's right, because that is part of the shoulders. So that'll be next. Well, the head is next. And of course, we do have... How many stickers are on this headpiece here? Let's look. We only have 2 stickers on the head. That's such a small number. Obviously, the low... Well, this is funny to say. 0 stickers would be the least amount on a head. But that is unbelievably rare. That is completely rare for a model kit to have 0 stickers. 1 is generally like the least amount you're going to find on a kit, because 1 is going to be I mean, obviously, like, yeah, 1 is going to be just the eyes, just the eye sticker. That's all you're going to get for that. But occasionally there might be a little bit more. Sometimes there are 3 stickers. There is the eyes, top of the head sticker, and then the sticker at the back of the kit. A22. Where are you, A22? There you are. Sometimes the eye stickers are individual. But yeah, usually there's 1 to 3 stickers on a face. And the amount of the times there's been 0 is incredibly small. On a high grade, I should specify, on a high grade. Real grades, sometimes just the eye stickers. Sometimes real grades and master grades, no stickers at all, because it's all layered plastic. And you don't even need the stickers. Kind of cool. I am going to be putting the face on here first. And then put the eyes on, because I like it that way. Some people put the eyes on first and then put the face plate on after that, but I like using the face plate as a guide for putting on the eye sticker. That's my opinion on it. Everybody's got their own way, their own vibes, but that is just my preferred method of applying an eye sticker. Okay. Here we go. Oops. All right. Now we'll use our dull toothpick to flatten the eyes out a bit here. and lay them in. And then the piece that we're going to put on over this should hopefully keep that down. Let me just check here. This is a reissue, so I don't know how old this plastic is. I do not, I know that this is not plastic from 2009, but how many years ago this reissue happened, I'm unaware. I don't know. I don't have the answer for you on that. And I don't know, yeah, so I don't know, but I do know the design is 2009. So even if the plastic is older, and this is a reissue, which I am fairly confident it is. I don't know how old that is, but I do know, again, 2009 design. So do with that information what you will. All right, then let's get the head together here. There it goes like that. Whoop. There it is. And that goes like that. Try to line this up right. There we go. Got that together. And then we will put on all of the, we got another sticker to place. Before I put more parts of this on, I am going to panel line what we have here because it might be more difficult to do that later. I often do that with the head because, you know, spiky parts and various other layered parts, sometimes it's hard to then get into the other parts of the kit. So we'll just do that now. I didn't panel line the body yet, so we'll do that. But I just wanted to get some stickers done while I could, because I don't know about the other ones, but I do know that, you know, the longer it goes in the stream, the less good I am at sticker placement. It's just something I know about myself. So if I can get these stickers done, I'm going to get them done. And a little bit here. But yeah, I'm getting used to the space that I'm in right now. Again, getting used to like where everything is. Like it's warm in here. If I was in the other room, the Carolina room, I would be wearing a hoodie because it would be colder. But in this room with all of the various monitors and the computer and all that, and it's just being a smaller room, there is body heat and all that, and a lot of heat radiating. So I am toasty warm. I'm fine in here, which is good. It's not like super cold out there, but it is cool. You know, I'm not blizzard conditions or anything, but it's a little chilly out there. All right, we did that. Now we can finish the head here. We need A27, A20. There's a sticker, and then A2 on the very end of it. A2 is a very tiny piece here, which I'm going to pull off by hand. I did not snip this piece off. I took it off by hand, and then I'm going to trim it with the clippers, the snippers here. But I did not do this because I did not want this to fly away, because it is very tiny and clear. So it'd be very difficult for me to find it again. I just have to hope that when I put it on there, it does not fly away from me as I put it on, because that would be a bummer. A thing I've been doing the last couple days, it's not gaming related, so I'll just tell you now, is I have been making my way through archive.org on the upload side, uploading some stuff that should have been there for years, and I should have been better about doing it, and I just wasn't. 404ing it. Every 404ing it, except for 2, is on my, if you search for Pat Baer as an uploader on archive.org, you will find all of them except for 2. Those 2 are not on my YouTube, and they are not on archive.org. If you really want to find them, you can find them. I have made the decision that those two don't exist anymore. And there's weird shit, right? Like, I have an improvised post-mortem where I have somebody whose last name has changed because they went through a marriage and a divorce. I have a video where I refer to someone by their dead name because at the time it wasn't their dead name. Like, it is a weird thing. But in both those instances, they are okay with those videos existing. So since they're okay with it, that's what's up. In this other instance, I have made the executive decision that fuck no, that video doesn't exist anymore. Nobody gets to see that shit because I don't want those two videos up there. Beyond the fact that it's because there's a guest on there that I think is abhorrent and deplorable, and I don't want to be associated with them. The other reason why I don't want those to be archived is, one of them I just think is the worst 404ing it I've ever done. And no, it's not the last 404ing it that I did. Maybe the second last. The 404ing it I did, that some people would say is my worst, is definitely the last one I did was, how do I put this? The last 404ing it that I did as a PAX panel is not the worst 404ing it, but it is the one that made me think that I was going to take a break and or stop doing it. Because I had it in my head that I wanted to do the improvised postmortem I loved, and it turns out, like, post-pandemic, I have figured out a way to do it with less people in a way that I still think is really good and fun. 404ing it was a ton of work, and the major problem with that show was the amount of homework that I demanded of my guests. And what happened in that last one was that nobody emailed me their stuff until, like, I took an early morning train to Boston from New York, and that day, 2 of the 3 people got back to me with their things, and it was very last minute, and it was at the point where I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I can keep doing this the way I've been doing it. I think I have to figure something else out, and that might mean I've got to stop doing this stream like I've been doing it. There we go. I got the clear on there. The sticker's behind it. It did not fly away. I was very nervous. I was kind of repeating myself as I was doing this because I was trying to distract myself from what could have been a disaster. But it wasn't. Hooray. We'll do a little bit of panel lining with a black marker here, and then we'll be good to do this as well. But yeah, that made me say I need to take a break. Also, I'm always kind of bummed if there is one thing, like, look, everyone has regrets. If there is a PAX-related regret I have, is that I waited until right before the fucking pandemic to do Pat Bear's Anime Club. The first Pat Bear's Anime Club live at a convention happened at the last PAX East before the pandemic, which lockdown was a month fucking later. It was like the last convention. And I should have been doing that for years because it had such a huge crowd. It had people who came because of the name of the panel that didn't know who I was, despite my name being on it. It was an unbelievably lively panel. It was great. My guests were fucking stoked to be there, which is awesome. And I love that for them and for me. And then I did, when they did the PAX that was in place of PAX West that year, that was PAX Online, I did 404ing it as a pre-record. And that was fine, but it wasn't the same. That was good because it was like me hanging out with some people that I like. We recorded too much content and I had to edit the video down to make it an hour because it was over an hour. So that's the other thing. I had to fly through recommendations for the first PAX one. And and I had too many guests, and we talked about too many anime. They still had to do. That's actually the. If there is a problem with Pat Bear's Anime Club live, the way I created it is that it does also require homework, but it's less homework. It's not find some videos and send me some YouTube links. If you don't know how to like pull the videos down yourself, send me YouTube links, but not too many, and also have it be fun and positive and something you want to talk about. Whereas Pat Bear's Anime Club was like, hey, if you could only recommend 2 anime, what would they be? Like, that isn't that much homework. And like, you don't have to get video clips from me. You don't have to do, you don't have to do a lot of research on the history of it. I'll do a lot of research. If it's, and the only thing I ask is not a show we recommended previously, which I also would totally change because now it's been so many years that if I ever did it live, I don't care. But I kind of, the idea was, I don't want to recommend a show that was just recommended the last time I did it, but I think that also doesn't fucking matter. As long as I'm not recommending the same shows every time, I think it's fine. Oh, and then the other thing was, is there a deal breaker for people about your show? Is there a Mineta? Now, a Mineta is, of course, in My Hero Academia, Mineta is a character that sucks and makes every scene he's in worse and is a fucking bummer. And you kind of have to be like, oh, well, there's also fucking Mineta in there. And it might be a deal breaker for some people. But sometimes the deal breaker is just like, hey, the first season is bookended with a main character being in peril of perhaps of being assaulted. And they start that is like an early cliffhanger, and then also they fucking call it back by making it a late cliffhanger in the first season. Like, it could be that. It could be this, like, this first episode is fucked up, and then it gets really fun. Like, it could be a stylistic thing. But there might be a Mineta. And so, like, that's all I always asked about recommendations. Like, is there a Mineta? Like, if you were going to tell people they should watch this thing, what's something that they should be on the lookout and, like, for? That kind of thing. And if it's a live show, I might include some clips. Here and there, but probably not. So 404ing it kind of went away because it was a lot of fucking work to do because it required homework, and then also was a lot of work, and then like I had to have people record it and edit it for YouTube, because if I got in a panel room that streamed, I could never talk to anyone from the on-site people. So Twitch handled all of the live streaming stuff, right? And they hired contractors to do that work. They were not Twitch employees, they were subcontractors. So there would be a lighting person, or not a lighting person, there would be a sound person for the room. And then there would be a camera person, and maybe, if the room was big enough, there'd be someone operating camera, and there'd be somebody watching the live feed and doing switching between multiple cameras. They could have like 2 cameras, and they could have one for movement and one for that. But like, the last improvised post-mortem was streamed on Twitch. So the last improvised post-mortem at a PAX that wasn't unplugged was streamed on Twitch, but the person who streamed it didn't include any of the slides. And there was because the software that they had could let them do picture-in-picture. They could do a picture-in-picture of the source of what was going to the projector. They could get that as well, and then also put that out to the stream. And then sometimes there'd be a 404ing it where, luckily, I was happy that someone recorded it, because the 404ing it video, like, the one that went out to Twitch was like, didn't have our heads. It just had the feed. Like, my PowerPoint presentation was the feed that went out there. And they never switched back. They're like, start on me. We went to look at the slideshow. They never did it. Or the person in the room was mixing for live, but what they sent out to Twitch wasn't the mixed version, it was the raw audio from the board. And so then the Twitch stream just sounded like shit. Like, there was so much going on. 404ing it was, unfortunately, a technical nightmare. The first year that a girl came up and said, there was this woman. She was a contractor for Twitch. She was not a Twitch employee. I don't know who she was. She didn't work for Reed. She was a subcontractor. So I went to do my check-in with the room and explain what was going on and get my laptop set up. And then I went to go talk to the Twitch person and just give them an idea of what the show was. And she goes, oh, I watched your stream from East. So, and I was like, oh, cool. She's like, you know, I can do picture-in-picture the whole time. And then I can switch in between segments. I'll switch to just the four of you. And I was like, that's so great. Thank you so much. He goes, oh yeah, I just Googled all of the panel names to see if they had done it before so I could know what the panels are. And I was like, that's so nice. She didn't get paid for that work. That was just her doing work as part of her job. And as somebody that always went above and beyond for those kind of things, like, that just made me so happy. That was a godsend. Never happened again that somebody ever knew what I was doing. I had people tell me in a room that I had already done something in, tell me, oh, we can't do picture-in-picture. We only have one camera. And I'm looking at their 2-camera setup. I'm like, okay. All right. Well, then just, can you switch between the two? Oh, yeah, we can switch between the two. We can't have that camera be static. They're like, okay, yeah, I don't need 2 cameras. I just want, so frustrating. So anyway, what I was actually talking about was 404ing it is all online except for the 2 that aren't online that I don't want to be online. All right, so we got to get this together. And this is part of the shoulder, and all this goes together. And then we do the other shoulder. And, all right, let's just get this thing together here. E. We're going to start getting these things together and see how they work. Now that we're done with the head and the chest. And then improvised post-mortem. I have a bunch of improvised post-mortem done. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. I have 5 improvised post-mortems that I have not uploaded yet. I'm slowly doing it. I will say, because I'm doing archive.org, I am trying to, as best I can, include as much information as possible. And that includes, so I need, sorry, E8 and E9. Wait, which one is E8 and which one is E9? Oh, wait, no, that was that one. Sorry. I'm like, where is that? I already did it. I need E7 and E6. So that's 7 and 6 is this one here. Get that together. This thing that we're building here is the side weapon. So that's why we're doing, I don't know why we're doing this now, but we're doing it now. There's a lot going on with this kit because it transforms. Then I need E14. I need E11, which is a clear piece, and then E16. So yeah, I'm trying to include the dates. Here's a weird thing. In all of my, I don't have every PowerPoint that I ever did, but I didn't include in my archives on YouTube the date of when the panel happened. So I've had to like do math. Honestly, the solution, unfortunately, is that I look up on Twitter my username and then search the hashtag PAX East or PAX West or PAX Prime or PAX Unplugged to find, and then I have to scroll through and find the dates of like, in 2 days, my panel is such and such. Improvised Postmortem, I started including the date of it in the promotion images that I sent out, the date and time, and that's very handy. So eventually I figured that shit out. But at first I wasn't doing that. And it turns out my archive stuff of Improvised Postmortem, because there isn't a lot. The Improvised Postmortem is a promotional image, and then the PowerPoint or Google Slideshow or deck or whatever I made, or PDF, whatever I made. Turns out all of that is, because it's small, I archived that very like correctly. Whereas 404ing it, I used to archive all of the source videos and all that, and then eventually I stopped because my external hard drive that all that lives on was getting fucking full of all of that goddamn video. It was so much video, all the source stuff. Because also, PowerPoint doesn't do video as reference. That was a thing that I, learned and then had to constantly learn is with PowerPoint, it was like, okay, so I have 50 videos. So not only do I have 50 videos, the PowerPoint is got all of the videos embedded in there. And so it would make for very large files when I need to transfer them. It was occasionally a fucking nightmare. Ooh, I do like that clear piece here on the weapon. That is cool. That looks neat. And then this goes like this. So this weapon, this piece pops down here, or this does something here. I can't figure out. Oh. There is a piece here. Can't figure that out. I don't know how this goes, but there is a piece here that is the handle for the gun, or it goes on the side, but now I can't seem to figure out how that goes, so I'm gonna pop this open a little bit here. Take that off. So yeah, doing some archival stuff. Also, hey, this is the last thing I'll say about that. It turns out I didn't have copies on a hard drive of every 404ing it panel. So if my YouTube got nuked, I wouldn't have had all of them. Okay, so that piece folds down like that. So we'll just do it slightly there for now. So I'm thrilled that I noticed that and was able to quickly download all the stuff that I needed there. Because like I said, I didn't have all of it. I didn't have all of it downloaded. At a certain point, all of those videos, the original versions. Now, by original versions, I mean either the versions that were filmed by somebody in the room, or the Twitch stream that I then ripped and downloaded. All of the source stuff I had for that was supposed to be archived, and I guess I fucked up somewhere, and they went away. But luckily, they're all on YouTube, because Improvised Postmortem does not have any copyright issues, because it's just a bunch of images and people talking, so they're all intact. There is one thing that's weird, is an early Improvised Postmortem I have doubled, and it's the panel and then the panel after it, and that's only because somebody had uploaded that panel before I could, and they tried to copyright claim me, and obviously it's not theirs, it's mine. This was somebody. So what I did was I uploaded a version of it as a double, and that somehow evaded it, because the original got taken down, but then when I put it up the second time, it didn't get taken down. And I don't know why that is, but that is true. And I've never gone and taken the original and just divvied it up in half again. I could do that, I haven't. So it just lives like that, and it's like, that's fine. That's okay. It is what it is. All right, so we got our gun here that can be held, and that also will be able to be attached in flight mode on the side. And that's done. Nothing to do with that. So we can move on to working on our shoulder here. At this point in the stream, we'll talk a little bit. There's not much news out there. There's really not much to discuss vis-a-vis the news. So there's a story out there. There is an official Discord for Microsoft has a Discord for Copilot, And it launched before Copilot came out as a way to hype people up and maybe answer some questions, but mostly as like a thing for early adopters or people who are interested in it. And apparently, for a while, the term microslop was blocked on that Discord. You could not write that. If you wrote that and you press enter, you would get a message that only you could see saying that the content is blocked from this server. For server moderators, your message contains phrase that is inappropriate from server moderators. So they would get that. And it wasn't every term, because you could kind of juice it. You could find, like, you put a 0 instead of the O, and you could write that. And then eventually, the server went read-only for a while. Because people started complaining about this excessive weird moderation. They were mad about it, and they were making their voice heard. Now, according to Microsoft, this is an unrelated thing. This is completely unrelated. They were having attacks on the server, and that's why they went temporarily read-only. Let's see. Microsoft reached out to Windows Latest with an official statement noting why the company had to lock the Copilot Discord server. According to Microsoft spokesperson, the Copilot Discord server was recently targeted by coordinated spam intended to disrupt conversations. The company says the activity initially appeared as large volumes of repetitive or irrelevant messages, prompting moderators to introduce temporary keyword filters to slow the influx. So basically, they're like, oh no, there was a coordinated attack and this was our only recourse. And it's like, wait, are you saying that all of the people that wanted to write Microslop were part of an attack? Or are you saying that was unrelated? Either way, I cannot imagine what a Microsoft Discord is like. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is the Copilot Discord. So this is not the place to talk about how Windows 11 sucks. This is the place to talk about how Copilot sucks. And he's in too many things, and clearly fucking sucks. And what are we even doing here? So yeah, I don't know. But also, Lashberg, I agree with you. I bet that is not a cool place, not a fun place. I would not be interested in chilling there. All right, so we got to do this here. It goes like that. And this piece goes together here. And then we're getting this other gun built here. Where's this other gun go? I don't remember. We'll figure it out. We're building some weaponry. So yeah, that feels like a weird reason. It doesn't really answer the question there. Microsoft added the block terms such as microslop along with other phrases in the spam campaign was not intended as a permanent policy, but a short-term mitigation where the company manages to put additional protections in place. But again, the people that were like complaining about this weren't seeing this spam. So it's just like, to them, it was just like, why is Microsoft blocking us from this? Come on, that's only going to make us want to say it more. And like I said, finding inventive ways to get around it. Like, oh, well, if I can't say this, I'll say that. And I'll put a number 1 instead of the I in Microsoft. So it'll be one crows slop. Also, just a reminder, folks, Microslop is accurate, but it's not clever. It's just not clever. That's just my opinion. When instead of microslop, you could say no pilot instead of co-pilot. Hashtag no pilot. That, to me, is way more clever. Laura Crashton, I can't imagine a Discord I'd less like to join than Microsoft Copilot server. Well, I think Mjon just said it better. Do they not have a public MS Teams server? A Microsoft Teams server, I think, would be even more sad, because there's nobody positive about Microsoft Teams, and I think that would be a nightmare place to spend any time in. If that was your job at Microsoft, was to be a mod for the Teams Discord, I think that would be fucking sad as shit. All right, we got another weapon here. We got our clear plastic in our guns, a rail gun of sorts. But this also opens up some. So we'll see what we do with these. Now we can start doing some stuff that we do two at the same time. I know we do that two at the same time. Then I think we do this. Yeah, we do that one separately. Okay. I just need to check something real quick. 12 and 10 here. 10 and 12. Okay. Let's check something really quick here. All right. So, it was just reading the Microsoft story before I joined. Nice. A server for Skype fans. I mean, look, a nostalgia server for Skype isn't the end of the world, in my opinion. Now, should you be nostalgic for Skype? Not as a product, but as your own part of nostalgia of your internet experience, then maybe. This piece of plastic was damaged when it arrived in shipping somehow. At some point, this little piece got removed. And so I've glued it back together, but I'm going to put even more liquid cement on this before we get to this piece, because I am worried about it. Once everything's tacked together, it should be okay, but I am just going to be trying to strengthen it a bit by adding more liquid cement. Hopefully you can't even see, but maybe if you really looked at it, you could see there's a little bit of an abrasion where it broke. It broke on the sprue. I have to assume it was in shipping that it got damaged, but I'm just going to add a little bit more glue to it and let that kind of hang out and hopefully get a little stronger with drying. But as I said, I'll handle it with care, and then when it's put together, hopefully it'll be nice and secure. Before we take our pause for the cause, is there any other news stories here? Well, I'm waiting for a little more confirmation for that story, so we'll save on that. Half Brick Studios is cutting jobs in Australia. These are the developers of Jetpack Joyride, and they give the usual tough times. Impact employees based in Australia and result in the conclusion of a number of engagements internationally. They are a fully remote studio, but these are all people applying there. Wow, it's a game I've not thought about in age. Indeed. They launched a game called Bluey's Quest for the Gold Pen. And apparently that maybe has not done super great for them. I don't know. But yeah, it's the Fruit Ninja people. But yeah, they worked on a Bluey game at the end of last year, I guess. We don't know how many people have been affected by this. That was the only layoffs from the weekend, I guess, that were reported in a way that I can inform you about. If there were other ones out there, I don't know about them. Also, hey, I know that Pokemon cards have kind of calmed down a little bit. It seems like the market is, some people are heavily investing in One Piece cards, and so it's getting a little easier to get Pokemon cards in the United States, at least. Due to the fact that this occurred in Florida, where if you do a crime, it will be in the newspaper. That is just part of the state laws. That is why that happens. If you're wondering why there's so much reported crime in coming out of Florida, it's because they are legally required to tell you about it. That is legitimately the reason. A man was arrested for his a spat of Pokemon heist, where he was stealing apparently 70. He did the 75 TCG boxes from various Target stores over the last year. an estimated $10,000 worth of cards, which he apparently, via eBay, made about $40,000 in resales. So he flipped them for 4 times the amount. And of course, again, his investment was nothing. I'm sorry. His investment was taco seasoning. Now, they don't go into every detail about how this works. So I can't, because I think they don't want copycats. But somehow, this man would get, like, let's say he got 5 boxes of Pokemon cards. He would go up to the self-checkout and he would ring them up as taco seasoning packets, like 4 taco seasoning packets instead of 4 boxes of Pokemon cards. Now, how that exactly works, I don't understand. But when I tell you that he did it 75 times, he had a system that was working until it obviously didn't. Now, perhaps one of his issues was not quitting while he was ahead. Maybe you only need to do that crime 72 times. When you've made $40,000, maybe you're good. Maybe making $40,000 through eBay, you aren't using enough accounts. You aren't using enough locations. I don't know. We could psychoanalyze, we could second guess this man and his choices all we want, but the evidence speaks for itself. He did sell a lot of shit. Maybe he shouldn't have done, yes, but quitting on the 71st time, he could have gone one more. Maybe he shouldn't have been using eBay at all, right? Maybe he should have had a printout of every card shop in his area. Now, obviously, the product you're gonna sell more on eBay because it's you're selling to other collectors, and you're gonna make less. Lord Crashing, I don't know how many accounts the person had. You're gonna make less going into a store, but the store is like, the store might pay you fucking cash and won't take your name down. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they have security footage, and so you want to avoid the security footage of going into a store and selling a couple boxes. And also, you're going to have to drive and all of that, whereas in eBay, like, you're just driving to the post office with your ill-gotten gains. But, so maybe my theory is completely busted. But it just feels like selling for cash at various stores is probably going to be better than doing it through eBay. What if you came in with cards that smell like tacos? There you go, Lord Crash. Then yeah, who knows? I hope they were all the low sodium ones, But anyway, honestly, I don't know what the trick is there, right? Because obviously he made $40,000 minus the taco seasoning packets. I wonder if he got caught because it was an abnormal amount of taco seasoning. I don't know. Here's the thing. He's not going to get found guilty of all charges. He's not going to get the maximum sentence because it is just theft. But he could get 90 years in prison. He's not going to get 90 years in prison. He could get 90. And as said by John Walker here for Kotaku with a little editorial in the end, I'm still a little stuck on how this works. Assuming Target has scales at self-checkout, could a 99-cent taco seasoning really weigh the same as a large box of Pokemon cards? I mean, every time I try to add my own empty bag to the scale to pack my shopping, the machine freaks out as if I dropped an unscanned bar of gold bullion. And even if it did, imagine his bland, flavorless tacos. Yeah, because he's not bringing any of that taco seasoning home. So yeah, I don't know how that I don't know how that worked out for this guy. I don't know how the scam works. How that worked 75 times. Now, I also don't know if that's 75 boxes or 75 thefts, and it's way more boxes, but it was $10,000 worth of Pokemon product, which is a lot. Yeah, Lord Crashing, that's the thing. It worked. It did work. I would not. Yeah, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend stealing from a store. Now, I've never seen someone steal from a store, and neither have you. And I will never see someone shoplift, and neither will you. It's one of those things where I know it happens, but even if it happened right in front of me, I don't think I would know. Now's the part of the stream where I'm going to talk to you about ways you can support the channel and what I do here. Everything I'm going to talk about here is optional. You are under no obligation to do anything if you just want to hang out. John says, you beat me to it. I was going to say I never saw a shoplifter. Indeed. Never have. Yeah, if you want to support me financially, you can. There are ways for you to do that, and I'm going to list a few of those ways. Again, all optional. You don't do any of these things. Hey, but if you wanted to, well, who's going to stop you? Not me. If you're currently a subscriber to the Build with Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it with your Twitch account. You get Twitch Prime. You can use that token for anybody. And if you feel like using it for me, I mean, that would just be great. It would legitimately be great if you wanted to do that. You don't have to, but if you wanted to, wouldn't be mad about it. But again, there are other ways to support what I do here. This is the easiest one because you're already here on Twitch. Gifting a sub, you can be the first person this month to gift a sub. Bits and coins, always appreciated. You can do that as well. If you wanted to join my Patreon, you could certainly do that. It's a new month. I just sent out an email to my Patreon yesterday with my current schedule for the first half of this month. So you can check that out at patreon.com/PatBear. The $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. My $3, $5, and $10 patrons, on probably Thursday, maybe Wednesday, there will be a poll for you about what I'm doing a week from tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm doing Steam demos. But the following Tuesday, I'm doing what you want me to do. So you can check that out. That is a way to support me. Consider joining me on Patreon. I did have, I want to check that. Did I just have somebody drop down from the old Patreon? Yes, I did. I did have that, which is a shame, but it happens. Occasionally people have to bounce off the Patreon. And it's all right if they want to do that. You know, is it a bummer? Well, sure, it's a bummer, but it happens. They can do that if they want to. If they want to drop out of it, they're totally okay to do that. I have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBear. Over on my YouTube channel, you can of course subscribe for free, and I would love for you to do that. But also, so please subscribe, consider. But also, while you're over there, you could become a member, and for just $2 a month, you'll get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you'll find out what March's theme is and what the first video for March is. And so that, I think, is a pretty nifty thing. Sorry, I just have to check one quick thing here. Okay, I did check that. That's all good. Great. Sorry. Pardon me. Sorry. Checking this thing. So yeah, consider joining me over there. Those are all monthly ways to support me, but if you want to just throw some money in the tip jar, I do have a Ko-Fi and a PayPal for direct donations, and everything that I get coming in through that, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I pull money out to buy model kits and Lego sets. This kit, the Arios Gundam, I was able to pick up because of your generosity. Past you is helping out Present Me, which is very cool. Present Me loves that. So if you want to buy something for me to build in the future, you certainly could. That is a way to support what I do here. Now, I do have a backlog full of stuff to build. It's a little low, but I'm still got plenty of cool stuff. If you would like to buy something for me to build, you can do that. You can buy something from my Amazon wish list. And if you buy something from there, it'll come to me in the mail, of course. I'll make a dedicated video about the thing you purchased, and it'll skip the queue and become the next thing I build, because that's the least I could do is to give you priority. I recently added the Megatron in the classic class. That is the smaller Megatron. We built the big Megatron, but I could build the smaller one. I've got I've got the Starscream Blockies kit because I think they're fucking neat. But yeah, I've got master grades and I've got high grades and I've got tiny kits and big kits and gear, some equipment if you're unsure what to buy, all kinds of different things and things that I would be happy to put together. So if you see something on the wish list that you would love me to build, you have the opportunity to get that to happen by making a purchase. There's a Lego 3-in-1 Flamenco that's currently on sale. It's currently $24. It's a Flamenco, an axolotl, and a cockatoo. If you want me to say axolotl a bunch, which I think I'm saying properly, or have me build a cockatoo or a flamenco, that's a 3-in-1 for $24 right now. I would love to build that Lego set. That would be neat. You could buy that and make that happen. I don't know. You could. My alternative to Amazon is I have a wish list on Throne. So if you see something on my Throne wish list, you can pick that up. If you don't want to use Amazon, which I totally understand. And then the most convoluted way to support me financially is to go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you can buy a gift card. They will send you a code in your email, a gift card code. Then you can send me a whisper here on Twitch or a private message on Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code, and then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. That's the store that I would buy something for you to build, for me to build with your money. So you can do that. That's a way, that's convoluted, but it's a way to support me. If you want to check out my Discord, I'd love it. I don't have, you can say microslop in that Discord. It's okay. No one will stop you from saying microslop in there. Unless you spam it, and then I'll have to put the server at read only. If you're spamming. Sorry, I just have a lot of phlegm in my throat. That's annoying. My allergies are kind of whipping my butt here. Sorry. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. A couple of video links. Hey, I got a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club that went up today. It's me talking about 6 anime that I come back to all the time. Now, I don't want to use the term comfort. These aren't comfort or cozy. Some of them are, but not all of them. Some of them are action-filled. They're like cool or violent. Like, but they're anime that I watch a lot. Maybe it's yearly, maybe it's every couple of years. But they're shows that I come back to. Not every show that's great is a show that I want to revisit. And also, maybe even one of the shows that I mention on here isn't excellent. It's just good, but it's like good popcorn. Where you're just like, yeah, all right, I'm in the mood for popcorn. I'm going to watch this again, you know? Hellsing Ultimate is one of them that I talk about in there, which is very violent and maybe not even that great, but it's visually really fun. And also, it's an anime where a vampire fucks up some Nazis, and that's good. It's just good. Just kind of good, you know? Sometimes that's all you really want to see. That's an anime where a lot of people fuck around, and then they find out. And it's pretty great. So I would say, watch that video, please. And then, of course, there's also Kuma Baer. We're in a new month, but the previous month's theme, we're almost done with. I talked about my love story with Yamada-kun at level 999, which is a phenomenal, fun little romantic comedy slice of life show about a girl that meets a guy in real life, that they knew each other in their guild, and then they start hanging out, and they start falling in love. And it's great, and silly, and fun. And yeah, you should check it out because it's a good time. That's watch my 1-minute explainer about that show and then watch the show. I am pleased to say that video had over 600 views, which is not as much as some of my other videos, but it's way more than the previous 2. February was a real dip for me, unfortunately, in Kuma Baer views. Real bummer. So I have 2 manga that I'm going to recommend. And then I have an anime that I'm going to talk about. We've got Manga Monday, and then the usual anime conversation. In order to get into all of that, I do need to take a pause. We need to finish the pause for the cause. I need to transition back to the overhead camera. I need to drink some water. And we're going to do all of that stuff right now. Yes, John is correct. We did hear it. John wasn't here for it, so that's fine. But yes, we have heard the new song. But once again, thank you for your channel points for the dance button. Here is, of course. You don't have to apologize to him, John. It was an hour ago. So I'm totally fine with playing it again. While I snip out these clear pieces here. Little good yeah, that beat is pretty fun. It does build. It's not just that beat over and over again. It does build. It's pretty good. These clear pieces behind plastic or behind stickers remind me a lot of some other 00 kits. We don't have a lot of that going on here in this particular Gundam. I believe this is the only clear circles over a sticker. But it is nice to have like a couple of them because this is a going theme in 00 kits. So kind of neat to have that on this. Oops, where'd that go? There it is. We're doing these two at a time here. These are our arm segments here that we're putting together. And we've done that, so we put those aside. And now we're going to work on one arm here that does involve this piece that did, as I said, break in transit. And I'm hoping that when I put it all together, it doesn't break apart. I'm hoping when I snap it all together, it'll be stable. But I'm going to try to be very careful with it, snapping it in place so that this doesn't fall apart. Because it feels very loose. And I may do even more liquid cement once it's put together. I think I actually probably will do that. Because the mode change will be fine. It won't require these to be separated. So I'm probably going to do that. Anyway, I have manga to talk to you about. 2 manga. And here's a weird thing. I didn't go out of my way to do this. It was just these are the next 2 that I want to talk about. These are both action series. Neither of them are isekai. And only one of them is banished. Excalibur Chronicle of... Raidorl? I've never said this character's name out loud. So let's see. It's Raidorl. We've got the Excalibur Chronicles of Raidorl and Poor Noble Nor's Adventure. These are 2 action series here. Again, they're not isekai. One is somebody who's been banished, and the other is just somebody who is down on their luck. Zane, Raidorl Zane, I'm just going to call him Zane here. His last name is Zane because he is royalty. He's from the Kingdom of Zane, and he's the 2nd prince. His father passed away, but so he's been raised by his older brother, who is the crown prince, of course, and lots of lovely retainers. He's got his fiance is kind of fucking intense, but she's like understandably nice and is very dedicated to the country, but maybe is a little intense and like he's like, whatever. I can't really choose my fiance, but it is what it is. And he's like, I'll be strong and I'll be someday I will support my older brother when he becomes fully king, and it's going to be great. And then there is the, of course, coming of age ceremony. In this world, you get some sort of occupation based on that, some sort of thing. And he's like, I hope it's something that will help my brother. He's thinking about that, help the family. I've got some, it'll be cool. The rarest thing that anyone can have in any of the kingdoms around is that a holy sword, that you will embody a holy sword. And of course, our main character has Excalibur, which is a dark sword. It is a dark magic sword. He is chosen. And then things go fucking wrong. Things go bad for our guy. Because his brother, the king, is unbelievably threatened. Because he's afraid. Somewhere in the kingdom's history, a wielder of a holy sword used it to take over the kingdom. And so the prince is convinced that there's going to be an uprising, that Raidorl, we'll just call him Zane from now on, that Zane is going to try to overthrow his old brother and take over using his unbelievable power. So he locks the sword in the castle and banishes our guy. He just completely loses his mind. His vassals turn away from him. His fiance, because he's no longer part of the kingdom, he's no longer a prince. She doesn't want anything to do with him because all she cares about is the kingdom. And even like the guy that trained him in swords has turned his back on him, is nowhere to be found, is clearly in league with everybody. And he gets banished to a border town where it's kind of lawless and it's on the border of a bunch of monsters outbreaks, so it's really dangerous. And our guy just kind of gets dumped there. Now, we don't see him really struggle. We get flashbacks that kind of let us know he had a rough time of it. He was doing his best. Okay, so because this piece is really weak, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some liquid cement on this part here and then the connector part here. And then my hope is that, because I don't have to open this up again, my hope is by doing this, it will strengthen this piece here. So I am just I'm going to be gluing this together. Do I recommend gluing plastic together when you don't have to glue plastic together? No, I don't recommend that. We're bonding these two pieces of plastic together in a way that is not necessary or intended. But I fully believe that this will strengthen the piece and is necessary so that this little piece of it doesn't pop out. Yeah, because it's very weak. And then we'll just some glue here. And then we're going to just hold these two pieces together here. And then we're going to hope that it does its magic and adheres all of this together. And then it becomes stable. And then we'll just put that aside. Well, we'll panel line it later. I'm just going to put it aside for now. And we will panel line that when we're done with everything. So hopefully that will adhere and this plastic will be stronger because this is involved in the transformation of this kit. So you do want this to hopefully be stronger than it is here. That's the hope anyway. All right, so we don't really see this guy struggle. We get some flashbacks of him doing it. Basically, he makes some friends. He earns the respect of everybody, and he becomes very strong. And that, to him, was the end of it. He's banished and betrayed, and he had no interest in the throne. He was only interested in protecting his brother and serving the kingdom. And if his brother had just been... Basically, there are moments in this where he's just like... He gets summoned because the kingdom is under attack. An empire is starting to invade, and they need his help. And he's like, I mean, what the fuck? Why are you talking to me, basically? Because they have multiple sword holders, holy sword holders, so it's too much for them to, for their people to be able to handle it. So they can script him basically to do this. The king, or our guy, is like, if he apologizes for what he did, if he shows remorse for what he did, then I'll help them willingly. There'll be no issue. Obviously, that doesn't happen. So our guy is like very fucking pissed off at this point. He's gonna do things his way. They try to kidnap his maid. Turns out, we find out his maid is this land also was where a witch had been sealed for like 1,000 years. And he rescues her, so she sticks with him. So his maid is a legendary witch who could probably turn the tide of battle without him, but, you know, he's still going to do his thing. And he's like, well, I'll handle this problem, and when I'm done with it, the king's going to be fucking furious with me from some stuff I did, so maybe I'm going to have to take over the kingdom. Like, 10 chapters in, that has not come to pass. He has not made the decision if he is going to have to deal with that. But it seems like all indications say he's going to get his revenge and take over the whole place. Because his brother, because it's one of those things where it's like, man, I wasn't going to turn against you, but you turned against me, so now what are we going to do here? He's like, oh, you fucked up. You did this. It's good. He whips a dragon's ass with his sword like pretty instantly, and it's pretty good. Pretty fucking good. It's not a great series by any means, but it's a good series, and I've had fun reading it. So that is Excalibur Chronicle of Raidorl. And then, I don't have a lot to say about this one, but I like it. Poor Noble Nord's Adventure. Nord is the third son of a noble family who have, like, through investments and just the way of things, they're poor. They are definitely like, they have too many kids and they're doing their best, and these kids need education and need food and all that. And there's not enough to go around. So Nord, who was trained to be a knight. He was putting money and time and effort into becoming a knight. That was his future. His future was doing that, and he would be able to earn a living and make it on his own because, you know, third son, he's not going to stick around. He's not going to get married off to some, like, his best case scenario was get married to somebody who does not have a male heir and get married to the daughter of that family, and that didn't seem like likely, so he's just doing what he can, which is this. He quits being a knight in training and gets into being an adventurer. He makes the decision that he is going to do that so he can earn money to kind of put the books together, to look after the kids, to get a dowry for the young ladies in the family, his sisters, and to support them so they're all fed and everybody's happy. And it's really slow paced because he's not an overpowered main character, and like, he's smart and he gets lucky. He takes some risks, but it's really like, it's a slow burn of watching this guy. Like, he makes friends and he tries to take shortcuts here and there, and sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does work. And he finds like compatriots as he tries to like earn more money and then also get stronger and get more accomplishments so he can then do bigger jobs that have more risk but more reward. And then kind of like, you know, he finds out, oh, we need this, we need that, so he's got to go and earn money and figure stuff out. And it is a practical series. Like, he is a practical young man just trying to make it and make things happen. And it's enjoyable. It is an enjoyable read. Like I said, there's not a lot to say about it because it is like pretty like just straightforward in its like slow-paced adventure-ness. You know, there's magic, there's abilities, there are monsters, you know, it is that kind of fantasy world, but he's not like, you know, like I said, he's not banished, he's not isekai'd, he's not like from the future. He's just a dude trying to do his best. And it's good. That's Poor Noble Nord's Adventures. Excuse me. I think it's fucking solid. All right. All right. I've panel lined all this. I'm trying to be as careful as I can with this piece, which again is all lots of liquid cement on there. So we'll clean this up, and then we can start working on the rest of the arm. This is like the shoulder part here that's going to go and it's going to pop into that. And then this pops into here. Like that. If you're like, that's a weird shoulder. Well, that's because there's a transformation. It is weird, but also that's because of the transformation that happens with this kit. Because it's got to go like this, basically. With some finagling. But normally it just looks like that. It is a weird kit, but that's because, like I said, there's a lot of weird shit going on with this. All right, so let's start building this together here. We need some polycaps. And I can talk to you about this episode of Noble Reincarnation, Born Blessed, so obtain unlimited power. Of course, you knew it was coming. There's definitely going to be an isekai that I'm talking about today, and of course it is the anime. We are on episode 9. Yeah, 9. We left off with our dude, the 13th prince was dealing with the first prince, who is, again, not the crown prince, because he's the daughter of a concubine, or he's the son of a concubine, so he can't become king. But he is the first prince, so he does have power. Gilbert. Gilbert had a guy, a vassal, who was going around using his name and being clearly a dick and was just being an idiot, and then also being an idiot to the 13th prince. And so that guy had to fucking die, and they made it seem like Gilbert had fired him, and that was a way to protect Gilbert's honor. But of course, that doesn't protect his feelings. And he's fucking pissed off about this shit. Coincidentally, a guy named Don shows up. Don Orts. He's a servant, and he works in the imperial household. And he shows up, and he's just like, "Hey, I'd like to work for you. I keep hearing great things about you, so I'd like to work for you." And so Noah's just like, "All right, find out what's going on with this guy. I bet he's a spy." He is a spy. He and his family all work for Gilbert, and they're like, this dude is definitely spying. He's definitely trying to do something here. But they're aware of it. So like they're gonna see whatever the fuck is gonna happen there. And you know what? We're gonna find out what happens there pretty soon. Meanwhile, Noah has been looking for weird treasures. At this point, he's got 2 crazy, weird, cursed items. Leviathan is the main one. It is the cursed sword that he is now command of. But he's tracking down weird, cursed shit to find powers, because he is trying to steadily grow his own abilities, so he doesn't have to fully rely on. I'm just looking for numbers here. He doesn't have to fully rely on the people around him, and increase his strength, so he can protect what's important to him. There are 2 paintings, and they're identical, made by a famous painter. And they're of a woman named Huana. Huawa, I should say. And one is real and cursed, and the other one is a duplicate. And it turns out that one of them, they're identical, except for one of them, the girl is older looking than she is in the other one, which means that the painting has aged. So that's the cursed one. And via Leviathan, basically they summon this the woman in the painting. It turns out she's a spirit. She was murdered, and her blood was used to make this painting. And so she's been trapped in this painting, but she can shapeshift, so she's making herself look older so that someone would notice. Anyone would notice, and our guy notices, and he's talking to her through telepathy because he can, and he's just like, "Great, swear your loyalty to me, because you'll be able to get out of that painting whenever you want," which is cool and weird. And our guy is just like, and also gets rid of that painting, buys the painting, and now the copy or the duplicate we now know is duplicate. That's fine. So the guy who has been bringing weird shit to him is stoked about it, and everything works out there. It is a weird bit of business, but that is how that part goes. There's a little bit about, we're going to find more later about Byron's daughter, Ada, who was sent to the palace. This was a scheme to get Byron's loyalty. It looks like she is engaged to be married, so that is probably happening soon. And they figure out, oh, I'm sorry, I have one of these pieces is wrong. I took out one of these pieces and it is incorrect, and so I have to figure that out. So hold on. 16 and 18. One of these is supposed to be 18, one of these is supposed to be 16, and I think one of these is wrong. Well, that's 18. That's 19. Okay, so this is the piece that needs to be the right one. I fucked up. So now I'm going to unfuck it. I believe that's this piece. It is. It's this piece. Great. All right, so we got that there. That goes... Oh, this has to go in here. Almost close this up without a piece we needed. So they need some money. They're going to help Ada out with a dowry so she can get married. And this is all to further Noah's people and all that. You may remember previously Zoe is one of her maids. Her mother got a job as a gatekeeper in there because the town was, the village they were from didn't have any money. And that way, the gatekeeper at the back gate was a cushy little job. They didn't really have to do anything. It keeps Zoe's loyalty high. It's a whole thing. And then people find out that, hey, if you work for the 13th Prince, not only will he take care of you, he'll also take care of your family. And so people are stoked about that shit. Understandably. Okay, so we got to put on this one because this is going to go on the right side, I think. Now that I realize it's probably going on the right side. We'll see. Yeah, it's going to go on the right side. This is. Oh, no, that's 5. That's 5. So it goes on this side. So you want the clear. You would want the clear you can see on the outside then. Right? So you'd want it like this. Yeah. Yeah, you'd want the clear that looks cool to be on the outside. Okay, so we'll do it like that. I'm figuring this out, folks. Don't you worry. I'm making it happen. C2. So she says, things are going good, except there's somebody like sneaking around. There's definitely something going on. That night, there's an intruder, and that the intruder kills Zoe's mother and sneaks in. Oh no, Zoe's mother is dead. That fucking sucks. Wait, it's not Zoe's mother. It's the spirit from the painting pretending to be Zoe's mother, and because they want this infiltrator to get into the palace, into his house, so they can trap him and figure out who sent him. So it was all a plan. Our boy's a genius. Zoe's mother is fine. Everything's okay. And then Zoe, they even have Zoe have a funeral to prove that, to quote unquote prove that she's dead, so that the mother doesn't get brought up into anything else or retribution or anything like that. So they're really going for it. They're following the intruder, and apparently the intruder wasn't there. The assassin, turns out, wasn't there to go after our guy. He was there to kill Don, who was supposed to be a spy, but wasn't doing any spy shit. He wasn't reporting anything because he didn't want to fucking do that for Gilbert. He wanted to help out. He saw firsthand that Noah fucking rules, and so he didn't want to betray Noah's trust. So it turns out, but don't worry about it. Everything's okay. Noah saves him. It's totally all right. Forgives Don. And now Don swears loyalty to Noah for real this time, not the fake shit, because this prince has gone out of his way to help him despite everything. And then talks about Gilbert and what's going on with that. And there is a belief that Gilbert is poisoning the king. That they've been doing something down there. So the emperor, I should say. So Noah's just like, hey, whatever Gilbert is serving, don't eat it because it's probably poisoned. Now, they're not being poisoned because this was a fucking test from the emperor, but it is an excuse for to search Gilbert's stuff and place, and they found that they've been poisoned. They've been using in experiments on slaves. And then Noah gets a promotion, and then it's decided, Noah, you're going to help me figure out who is my heir, because it should be the second prince, but it's not going to be the second prince. You get to decide. So it's a whole hullabaloo. But basically, the emperor knew that Gilbert was getting ready to try to poison him, and so he used Noah to get enough evidence to then do this legal and fair. There's a lot of manipulation going on, but we do get to see some cool stuff. It's a pretty fucking good episode, if I do say so. I guess it was pretty damn solid. There's a lot going on in it, and you know, I know some people wouldn't be up for all of the political intrigue, but there is cool action shit that also happens in the episode, so it ain't all just one thing. They got a couple things going. It was a pretty good episode. We have some time left in the stream, so now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? I always love hearing from you about stuff that you got going on, so please let me know. Is that portion here. I played a bunch of Peak yesterday with some friends in my multiplayer crew. There was not a lot of people around that wanted to do something. We've been doing a lot of Helldivers too, and we were looking to do something that was not that. And there were 3 of us, so we played a bunch of Peak. Excuse me. And hey, Peak is still pretty fucking good. I don't pretend to be good at it, but it's fun. That's a fun, dumb time with friends, chatting and playing, having a good time. Man, you can do a lot fucking worse than Peak. I'll tell you what. That was some good times. Also, still playing some Fallout 4 here and there. Not really doing a lot. You know, basically, I look at mods every couple days to see if there's any mods that I want to get into. There haven't been anything that really piqued my interest lately. But I'll keep up with it. I keep up, you know, trying to find out what's going on in the world of mods to jump back in. But I'm kind of doing this playthrough and seeing what's up, taking my time with it. I don't know. I just retook the castle today, so because I'm doing the Minutemen quests, and so I've retaken the castle, and now I'm building the castle up so that it's a cool place, because later I will have to defend the castle, and so I got to figure all that stuff out so I can do all of that cool stuff. I think the next thing I'm going to do is, well, I could go and go to the memory den, but what I want to do is now that I've retaken the castle, I feel like that's enough stuff that I can do. I can join the railroad. So I'm going to do the Freedom Trail quest, join the railroad, do some railroad bullshit, then do memory den so that I can then talk to the lady in the memory den, and she'll be like, oh yeah, all right, cool. Well, if you want to go talk to the Minutemen, I don't want to contact them. I'll be like, yeah, no problem. I got you. I can go contact the Minutemen. Not the Minutemen, the railroad. No sweat. So I'll do that. And that'll be fun. I also want to go to the Glowing Sea because I want to get a better I got to update the castle at some point with better weaponry. So I can do that. I can get that near the glowing sea by killing some of the remnants of out there. So if we'll go do that, then I'll be able to take care of that stuff of the Enclave. There's some Enclave remnants that are hanging out in the glowing sea. That's new content that got added for the big next gen update that came out. So we got to go kill some of them, see what's up. John says, been playing some Rainbow Six Siege and Earth Defense Force World Brothers. I never got into the Earth Defense Force games. I just never did. I don't know. I just, they just, I don't know. I don't know if I missed out on the right one. I feel like now would be a bad time to get into them. They're fine friend slop, says John. Yeah, I think I would want to play them with people, not like solo. And you know, I just know them as the janky games that some of my friends really liked, but I never tried. So I should give that a go someday. Someday I'll give that a go. Last week says, my weekend was pretty much just marathon. Watched some more Dragon Ball. Just got to Teo Pai Pai. So things are picking up. Indeed, Teo Pai Pai is a pretty great villain in Dragon Ball. The I'm going to throw an object and then jump on that object and use that to fly is very stupid in a way that I've always been into. That is top tier, high quality, dumb bullshit that I very much appreciate. Like, well, I can't fly, but I can throw something really good and then jump on it. I'm old, so my EDF is the side-scrolling shooter for the SNES. Yes, that Earth Defense Force. I have more history with that Earth Defense Force than the 3D, the 3D like kill, third person kill or first person say kill a bunch of bugs kind of game. Yes. I do have some experience with that one. Not a lot, but some. What was I going to say? Is there anything else going on? Hearthstone, playing more of that. We got an update coming, expansion coming in the middle of the month. So trying to get some time in with that, shoring up my decks, trying to get some wins in, because when new cards come out, some cards will go out of rotation in standard. And so I'm going to lose at least one of my decks that I like playing. Which is a shame, but that also means that there'll be more weird wild decks and maybe even a standard deck or two that'll be good. So I do want to try some stuff out, see how that works. And I will most likely stream that. Sometime this month, there's gonna be a new stage for Power Wash Simulator 2. I don't know. We don't know when that's going to be. We do know that the next update of the first DLC pack is in April, but before that there is like a quality of life update of like some new gear and stuff, and then one new stage that is supposedly coming this month. So I will stream that, I am sure. Tomorrow, I'll tell you that tomorrow I'm going to be streaming some demos. I've got how many did I list here? Let me check my list. I have 5 games downloaded. Now, Next Fest ended today. So some of these games, the demos might not be available. So tomorrow I will check to see and make sure. But most people leave the demos up for a while. Sometimes they don't. Most of the time they do. So I have 5 games. I don't know if we'll get to all 5. I don't know how much time we're going to spend on any of them. But we'll check them out, and hopefully they have a bit of a variety of different kinds of things. So we'll check them all out there. I feel like I should probably do Steam demo streams more often, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe if that one stage in Power Wash Simulator isn't long enough for a 2-hour stream, I'll do that when the time comes. I'll add in some fun stuff that way. We gotta do like this. And we gotta do like this. There we go. Oops. Piece goes again like that. Yeah, and then this is gonna eventually, in flight mode, these will come together like this. So I'm hoping that this is strong enough by then. But I think it will be, because I have used a bunch of liquid cement on here. So I'm hoping that by the time we do the transformation and these have to clip together, that it'll be okay. I think it will be. I'm not super confident, but I'm confident enough that this will all work out. When the time is right, this will all be good. Either way, it's looking pretty all right so far. Yeah, so I know I'm going to do that this month. Patreon's choice. I have a couple options for the Patreon folks about what I should do. There's always more Pokemon randomizer. I don't know for sure if I'm going to do that this month, but there's always that. The Heart Gold randomizer. I can always go back to that if I need something to play. I don't have anything like new coming out that I'm like, oh, I'm going to stream that, other than like I know that next month I'll dedicate a day to Power Wash Simulator 2, the Adventure Time DLC, if not 2 streams, at least 1. But also, I know that this month I'm going to do Pat Bear's Anime Club Live. That is going to be on Tuesday, the 24th. I'll do that because because I have to have something come out on the 30th. So that'll do that. So I know I'm going to do that. I know for sure. And like I said, also I know Hearthstone on the day that the Hearthstone update comes out. Hopefully by then I'll have new decks. That'll be the 17th. So next week there should be some theory crafting decks for some of the content creators I watch. So I should have some new decks ready to go for that stream. And then I'll probably do another one when the mini set comes out, because that's usually how timing like that works out for me, is that I often like to give it a week, but that next Tuesday would be this where I do my Pat Bear's Anime Club. So that's not going to work. So I'm going to do it when I can. So yeah, so I know what I'm doing the 17th, I know what I'm doing the 17th, the 24th. I don't know what I'm doing the 31st, and I don't know what I'm doing on the 10th because my patrons have to vote. But I do know, oops, that's the wrong piece. I do have an idea of the options, what I'm going to give them as far as options go. So that should all work out. Pull the wrong piece out of here. Laura Crash says, I started Fallout 76 on PC and have been doing some stuff on there, including the new round of Fast Knock events that happen every hour in town with robots marching around town to celebrate their events. I'm just like, okay, I never played 76. I don't think I ever will. It's just not something that is a thing that I think I just don't think I'm ever going to want to play that game. But I hope you're having fun with it. And then Laura Crash then also says, I need to rewatch Netflix One Piece with the new season starting next week. I was reminded of that being so soon because seeing clips of Luffy's actor hang out with Elmo, who wants to be part of the Straw Hats. Hell yeah, Elmo. Elmo gets it. You gotta join the Straw Hats. Now, there's probably a whole thing of like what faction do various people in Sesame Street want to be a part of. Like, there's probably a video in that. I mean, most of them would just say townspeople. They want to be on Fishman Island. They're not going out of their way to be involved in bullshit. It's probably the right way. Probably the right decision. But who knows? There might be a few of them out there that are thinking of getting into some goofs and seeing what's up. Maybe there's some Straw Hats, pirates among them. I feel like a lot of them would just end up in Buggy's gang. Just like a lot of them would just be Buggy people. That just feels, I don't know why, that just feels right that a lot of them would just end up in that crew. That's where they would be accepted. Bunch of goofs. Like Grover. Grover is going to be in Buggy's pirate gang. Like, that just makes sense to me. The toys on that one island, yes. Yeah, a lot of that. Let's see. And then, like, Big Bird just wants to hang out with Laboon. Like, they're like, oh no, you can be a pirate on any crew. And Big Bird's just like, Laboon, I want to hang out with Laboon. What gets me to hang out with Laboon? And you're just like, yeah, all right. Okay, Big Bird, that makes sense. You can hang out with Laboon. That's cool. He's like, yay. It's like, all right, yeah, I get you. I understand. I hear you. All right, so we got to panel line this, which we will do on the next stream. Don't worry about it. We got a lot done here. We got the chest, the head, the backpack and arm, 2 guns that we don't need. Why did we build these guns? We don't need them forever. I guess we could put one in the hand here, but we don't need them. I don't know why we built guns so early, but that is a thing that we did. We did do that. But we got a lot done here. I'm happy with the progress that we have made on this stream. And I want to thank you very much for joining me here tonight. I hope you had a good time. I had a great time with the stream. It was a fun one. My next one will be tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to, of course, say that we are going to end things with a raid. That's how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find someone doing cool stuff out there that we want to go hang out with. But also, while I'm figuring that out, as John says, we always end with a raid. As I'm figuring that out, a reminder that my next stream is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you should come check that out. Mary Kish is playing Eugenics, so we're going to hang out with Mary Kish as Mary plays that game. That's something that I've watched very little of because I don't have a lot of interest in that game per se, but I like Mary Kish and it's Monday, so it's Mary Monday, so we'll go hang out with Mary. But yeah, tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, it's demos night. I don't know. As I said, I've got a bunch of them. We're going to check them out. We already checked one out last week. We'll check more demos out and see if there's anything there that really, speaks to us. And we're like, oh shit, I got to get this. So I hope you can come along on this raid. I hope that tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, you'll come hang out for that as well. Thank you all so much for being here. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.